Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Ikramul Islam. I have a good news to share with you that I have passed my USMLE Step 1 examination very recently. So in this video, I am going to share my experience and more importantly, what resources I used in my preparation time and what was the sequence to use those resources in each and every systems. So let's dive into the main topic. To be very honest, I started my preparation from my zero basic. I had no basic, I had no idea what the stuff is, so I had to start it from the scratch. The first thing I did is I approached to every system-wise. Some people talk with me and they say that they like to take their preparation subject wise, like they are saying that they are now preparing or studying the pharmacology, so they want to finish all the pharmacology stuffs in all systems. And some people say they are now studying pathology, so they want to finish all the pathology concept of every system. So I think from my opinion, it would not be a good idea to finish the USMLE Step 1 content or study in that approach subject wise. Rather, I would suggest to study them in system wise fashion. That means if you start the cardiovascular system, I suggest you to go from to start from anatomy, then start the physiology, then study the pathology, then pharmacology, blah blah blah. So when you are studying a system, start from the basic subject from paraclinical to clinical, so that will create a good concept over the whole system. So I think the main review book first said it is written in that sequence, and that would be very much good for you to study on that sequence. So at first, so we are supposing that we are going to take our preparation in the systemized fashion. Second thing, there is some common pattern to be followed when you are taking your preparation. That's like there are some resources you can commonly use those resources on that sequence. So at first I would suggest the Board and Beyond, that is created by Dr. Jason Ryan. This resource is so much good that it focuses all the latest concepts and latest higher topics that are highly tested in the USMLE Step 1 examination. Previously, people used to say that Kaplan is a good choice or good resource for the Step 1 examination, but to be very honest, in my opinion, that I think Kaplan has a little become a little bit backdated. So I think now BNB is the best option for us to finish this. So at first you need to study BNB, then our second resources is Pathoma, that is mainly a dedicated book for pathology segment, and that is very good. After finishing the BNB and Pathoma, you should study the First Aid. First Aid is the main review book of our USMLE Step 1 examination. But the fact is, the First Aid is a very concise book, and in that book no details of any process or anything is written. So if you want to study the First Aid book, you have to have a very good concept, very good basic about all the context. So if you start the BNB first, then you start the Pathoma, then you go to First Aid, that would make a sense. Then you will understand what the First Aid is saying and how it would come in your examination. So after you have gone through the BNB, after you have gone through the Pathoma and the First Aid, then the time for UWorld. UWorld is a question bank for the USMLE Step 1 examination. There are many types of question banks like UWorld, the Campus, but the UWorld is the most high yield for Step 1. So after you have finished all the BNB, all the Pathoma, all the First Aid, then you should start practicing questions from the UWorld. And doing this question, you not only know the topics, you not only understand various concepts, but you have to improve your test tracking strategy, how you are going to solve the questions, what would be your strategy. You have to develop both all the stuffs from your when you are doing this. When you are done with these four resources, then you can say, yeah, you have done the first pass of that system. Like you have started with say cardiology. I would suggest that first go with BNB, then pathoma, then first aid, then UWORD, and then you can say, yeah, I have completed the first pass of UWORD. Now I have something to add, that UWORD and pathoma, they have audio visual resources. That means they have some voices and they have some videos in which they teach the topic. You can watch those videos. And at last, the BNP has some PDFs containing all the gist that he has teachen in his video. And in pathoma is a book, he has also some video lectures. So I suggest that if you watch the BNB video, you don't need to see the pathoma videos. Pathoma is only dedicated for this pathology portion, but BNB contains all the subjects like anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, pathology, pharmacology. So you have already started the pathology segment in BNB section. So you just go through the pathoma book, what he is written. After you have completed the BNB videos and BNB PDFs, that pathoma will be much more easier for you. That is the basic pattern you have to follow in almost all the system. Now here comes the exception. In some system, there are some exception. I recommend you to follow this pattern. So if you follow in this way, I think that would create a much deeper knowledge on this system. So at first, I want to talk about the neurology or central nervous system. So basically it was a fearful system for me, because in my first year of medical school, I couldn't understand all the topics, and I couldn't imagine what is going on the brain, on the spinal cord, and what is the pathway. All the thing seemed very hard for me. So what was my approach? That at first I started with Dr. Najib videos. After I completed the Dr. Najib videos of neuroanatomy or neurophysiology, all the neurology videos, then I studied a book called Kaplan Neuroanatomy. The book is written in much more details. To be very honest, that in USMLE Step examination nowadays, you are not going to face those basic subjects or basic concepts, because USMLE now this for last few years, USMLE is more focused on the clinical questions, clinical topics. So, but in Kaplan neuroanatomy video, there is all the clinical correlations are present in the Kaplan neuroanatomy, but there are also some basic anatomy stuffs in that book. So they are not going to come on your examination. But I suggest you, if you can go through the book, I think it would it contains almost 200 or 150 pages like that. But it would create a very good depth of your knowledge about the neuroanatomy and all the pathways and all the traction or whatever is going on our central nervous system. So I recommend you to use these two resources for central nervous system. Then follow our common pattern. That is, you have to watch the BNB, then pathoma, then first aid, and then you are done with that system. Okay. Then there are some exception also to the other system, like respiratory system. Actually, to be very honest, I talked with one of my seniors who is also from Bangladesh. He said that he felt respiratory physiology portion is the hardest physiology portion ever from every system. So it seems very hard, because there are many graphs, many curves to understand. So and in examination, they also likes to ask various graphs. So explaining a graph is very much tough. If you don't understand the whole process. So I was suffering from I was facing the difficulties in respiratory system, especially in the physiology segment. Then I studied a book that was excellent, extremely excellent, and that helped me a lot and cleared all my concept. The book was Linda Physiology, and it was written by Linda S. Costanzo. There are two books of Linda regarding physiology. One is review book that is called BRS Physiology, and another is Linda Physiology. I am talking about the Linda Physiology that is contains almost 500 pages. If you go through the book, the physiology segment of any system that you feel that is difficult for you, I believe physiology would be much more easier for you, much more easier. So I studied two systems from the Linda Physiology. First one is the respiratory system, and I also studied the endocrine system from the Linda Physiology, because endocrine is like math, you know. So after I finished the Linda Physiology, then I went to the BNB and Pathoma, then first aid, then UWorld. So it was much more easier for me. Now I am talking about some unusual system that you can follow. You can follow this pattern, common pattern in those systems. So at first I am going to talk about the microbiology. Okay, so there is a resource called Sketchy Micro. For me it was a gem. It was a gem and it was good. But I have heard that some people don't find Sketchy Micro that much easier. So I want to give a brief about the Sketchy Micro. So what Sketchy Micro is? Sketchy Micro actually, the people who are developing the Sketchy Micro content, actually in Sketchy Micro video, they just draw a picture. It can be a picture of a village, it can be a picture of a playground, it can be a picture of a match, it can be a picture of a the mills, factories, anywhere. Then in that picture they set various type of stuffs, like some people is doing this, some there is a watch that is clicking something. When they put the stuffs, they say that it is the property, we assume that it is the property of that bacteria, that virus. Okay, so the property of the bacteria and virus are signified by the content of that sketch. So when you go through the sketches, it creates a visual impression. So I didn't need to memorize all the characteristics, all the properties of the bacteria, which antibiotics works for the which bacteria, which fungus. So I just watched again and again those pictures, and I set the pictures in my brain. And when the realism came, microbiology segment was very much easy for me, because I could visualize that what he is asking, and I was pretty much sure that I am answering the correct question. So I recommend you to go through the Sketch Micro segment of bacteriology, pharmacology, mycology, whatever you want. After you have finished the Sketch Micro, then you can, if you want, you can study BNB, or there is an option to cut off the BNB. I think I didn't study BNB in the microbiology segment. I directly jumped to the first aid, and first aid seemed very much easier for me. And after that, I just started with UWorld. So there is no pathoma stuffs in the microbiology section. There is also a thing called biostatistics. Okay. Biostatistics, actually I recommend you to follow the common pattern in the biostatistics. That means start with BNB. There is no biostatic segment in the pathoma, because pathoma is only dedicated for the pathology segment. So start with BNB, watch his videos, read his PDFs. After that, I think I suggest you to read the first aid. I think it would make sense what it is written in the first aid, and I suggest you that even after that, if you feel that you are not understanding any concept, then I suggest you can YouTube the content. In YouTube you will find many concepts that are explaining very nicely about this. So after doing those things, start with the UWorld. And there is also two portion like psychiatry and ethics. You can follow the common pattern in psychiatry. There is no pattern version of the psychiatry. Just do like the biostatistic. That means start with BNB, then study the first aid, then UWorld, then done. The most tricky part is ethics, and to be very honest, I was pretty much upset about the ethics. I think I did many answers I wrong from the ethics segment. So whatever you study, I think it is not adequate for the examination. And after giving the examination, my inner feeling is that the exam is more like UWorld. Okay, so I studied the BNB, I studied the first aid, but I felt that this BNB and the first aid is not helping much on the real examination, but UWorld concept and UWorld question pattern are much more similar like the main question. So I suggest you to go through the main concept, because there are some principles of ethics and there are some ethical dilemma. So you have to know those basic concepts. But after you have done with this Board and Beyond and the first aid, I would suggest you to do UWorld again and again. I think that would help you a lot, because the real examination is much more like than the more similar to the UWorld than the first aid or the BNB. So that was our whole discussion, that how you should approach and what peculiarities or what the exceptions to our common pattern that you should follow in which systems. So after you are done with this process and this approach for the first time in every system, you can say, yeah, my first pass is done. After you have completed your first pass, then most crucial component comes, that how you should proceed further, and if you utilize how should you utilize your resource then, and how you can improve your scores, and how can you become more confident that you are going to pass the exam. So I had a trick, and actually I followed the pattern, and to be very honest, I was very much confident about the exam, that if everything is okay, then I am going to pass the examination. So what I did in my second pass, I didn't study the BNB. I just studied the first aid whenever I wanted to start any system. So in my second pass, suppose I am starting with cardiovascular system, I directly jump to the cardiovascular system, studied the first aid segment, what are written in the first aid. After studying the first aid, I went to UWorld. Okay, what I did in the UWorld, this when I give the first pass, I didn't mark anything. I did some question wrong, okay, that's okay, but the wrong in UWorld there is a pattern that if you do anything wrong, they will sort that you did this question wrong, you can repeat those wrong question. So what I did, I again solved all the question. So in this second part, I did that which question I am getting confused, I mark them. In those question I am getting confused, I mark them, and I also marked those questions which I did wrong. So in second pass, I started to mark the question that those concepts that are making me confused, I marked them, and I also marked those questions that I am making wrong. So I did every system in this approach. Make sure if you are not marking any question, make sure that you know very well about that concept, because this is a filtering method. In this marking technique, you are filtering those concepts that you know always. You have to be very much confident that if you are not marking any question, that means you are very much confident about it, and if you so much confident that if you are sleeping, I make you wake up and ask the concept, you are confident enough to answer this even under this situation. So I suggest you to filter to apply the filter of marking and unmarking. So you have to apply the marking system to all the stuffs, all the concept that makes you confused and you make wrong. In this approach, finish the second pass. After second pass, then you just read. If you need to read any book, then I suggest they read the first aid again and again. So after the second pass, you can give an NBME or 2 NBME. You can watch what is your score is. If your score is above 60, that's good, that you are on the right track, and if you are more than that, that's great. And I believe if you study in this approach, your NBME score, I think, would be more than 65%. So after you have done this second pass, and I suggest you to give 1 or 2 NBMA and watch your scores, and in which segment you are facing difficulties, so you are making thing wrong, and then revise those concepts again and again, that you have some weakness on this concept, clear them. So after you give some NBMEs, and after you again reread them, revise them, and make your concept clear, then I suggest you to again give a third pass of the URL. How? You marked all the questions in second pass that you made that those concepts that made you confused, and you also marked the question that you made wrong. So in third pass, I suggest you to do only the marked question. Do the marked question, and that may happen that in your third pass you may feel like you haven't read the concept anywhere. You are just facing the info for the first time. That may happen. So there is a chance that you will also you may forget this further. So then I suggest you save those information in your notepad or in your notebook that is provided in the UWorld, and also you can make flashcard of this information. So you are again applying a filtering system that you are taking away the information that very much vulnerable from your memory, and you may forget about this. And make sure you if you again make anything wrong, just take those info and add them to your notebook, or you can add them in the flashcard. So you should finish your third pass in this approach. After finishing your third pass, you have taken the information from the URL that you keep forgetting, and obviously you are reading the first aid again and again when you are starting every system of URL. I suggest you every time go through the first aid before starting any system. So after this third pass, you have a notebook or flashcard loaded with the information that you keep forgetting. Then I suggest you thus read those information again and again before the exam, and just go through the first aid as well. So if you do in this way, I think that would be much more easier for you and make you much more confident about the examination, and you will be able to crack the examination very smoothly. So that's this for today. I hope everyone is going to pass the examination, and don't forget to comment that if my information or if my experience is helpful for you, just let us know. Thank you everyone.